Welcome to my top 10 games of the week for week 12 of the college football season. I'm going to apologize a little bit here in advance. I am on a very tight time crunch for making this video right now. I got some other priorities in life that I need to be getting to. So usually I would try to go through here in addition to presenting the teams, the top players for each matchup, where and when to watch these games, time-wise and station-wise, and then the Vegas spread, the ESPN picks, and then my picks and the over-under, which I'm going to still give you all of those. In addition, I would usually add in some brief but in-depth analysis on each of these games and let you know why I made the picks that I did. Well, I really don't. I apologize. I don't have time to do that today, so I'm just going to run through this. I'll still give you all the other information I said, but I'm not going to give you my in-depth. I might mention some short analysis on some of these, but overall, I'm just going to pretty much list it and be done here. I do apologize. I'll get back to normal next week, but I am just completely slammed this week. I just wanted to get a video out there because I've done one every single week predicting the games. All right, so let's get right into it. As always, we're going to look at the teams just on the outside that didn't make the top 10. So other games to watch here. It's Friday's matchup, Memphis versus number 24 Houston. That should be a good one. And then moving into Saturday, Iowa State at number 13 Oklahoma, and then number 11 Baylor at Kansas State. Some good Big 12 matchups this weekend. All right, so as always, number 10 through number 1. Start off with number 10 here. So Wyoming 5-5 at 8-2 Utah State, 8 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. This is a big game for Boise State fans, obviously, because we need Utah State to take a loss here if we want a chance to get in the Mountain West Championship game. But this should be a big game, good game to watch overall. Utah State, a team that could potentially jump up here into the rankings if they get to 9-2 or even 10-2 towards the end of the season. They've had a really good season so far. A couple of slip-ups there. They lost to Boise State and they lost to BYU. Other than that, they've had a very, very good season. Utah State favored by 5 points, given a 67.3% chance of winning. Top player of the game for me is going to be Wyoming linebacker Chad, I think it's pronounced Muma. 103 tackles, 1 sack, 3 interceptions, 103 tackles. He is a monster, 6'3", 242 pounds. Definitely looking NFL caliber for sure for this Wyoming defense. And it's that Wyoming defense that's going to give me hope here that they can. Maybe I'm pushing beyond my analysis side and reaching into my biases a little bit, but I truly think that this Wyoming defense is a very, very good defense. I think the offense is improving enough. Here I am doing the analysis I said I wouldn't do. Anyhow, I'll do it for this game at least. Anyhow, I think that this offense is improving enough that I think they can get this upset against Utah State. I'm going to call Wyoming for the win. I'm going to call over on the over-under. So upset alert. Bam, bam, bam. There's a lot of those this week. If you like upsets, you're going to want to watch this video. All right, number 9 here. Air Force 7-3 at 7-3 Nevada. Friday, 9 p.m. on FS1. Nevada favored by 1.5 points, so a very close matchup predicted here. 65.6% chance of winning. This is obviously another big game for Boise State. We also need Air Force to take a loss. If both these teams take losses, Boise State wins out, Boise State will be in the Mountain West Championship game. So this is a big weekend for Boise State fans, and these are two huge matchups for us. However, this is a big game that everyone should be watching. Friday, 9 p.m. on FS1. So stay up late on that Friday. Put it on wherever you're partying or something. Make sure that bar has that game on, because this just should be a very interesting game to watch. Air Force, a good team out in the Mountain West, running a very, very good offense there. Hazik Daniels, a great quarterback for them. But the top player for this game is going to be, for me, is a quarterback for Nevada, Carson Strong, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. You need to see this guy play. 3,547 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Nevada coming off a close loss last week to San Diego State, who's number 19 now in the nation, 21-23. So they're going to be motivated. They're going to be angry. They want to come in and finish strong in the season here. Still potentially playing for a Mountain West Championship if some other things can happen. It's a bit of a long shot, but they could still be playing for a Mountain West Championship. And Air Force, of course, needing to get this win. So this is going to be a very, very big head-to-head win for, or not head-to-head because they're in different divisions, but it's going to be very, very big for each of their separate division title races. All right, so I'm going to call Nevada with a win versus Air Force in this one because I do believe they're the better team, and then I'm going to call over on the over-under. As most of you know, I am also an Air Force fan, but Nevada is the better team in this one, and because if they'd won against San Diego State, I think Air Force might get the win. Because they lost, they're going to be reevaluating, coming in angry, wanting to get that win with that chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to get the win here against the Falcons. All right. Number 8 overall here, we got Louisiana 9-1, so UL versus 7-3 LU for Liberty University. Go Flames, that's my second team. So Boise State, Liberty, Air Force, those are my 3 teams. 4 p.m. on ESPNU. Liberty favored by 4.5 points, given a 64.9% chance of winning. This is a big game. Louisiana should be ranked. They're 9 wins in a row here. Only lost to Texas at the beginning of the season. So other than that, they are undefeated. And Liberty, a team that has had a little bit of ups and downs, but they played Ole Miss really tight 2 weeks ago prior to the bye. Ole Miss then went out and beat Texas A&M. I mean, Liberty shot themselves in the foot in that game. They really, I mean, yeah, Ole Miss did enough to get that win, but Liberty had 2 turnovers in the red zone and ended up losing by 13 points. If they don't do those turnovers, if they don't have a couple of penalties, kill some drives, Liberty would win that game. So Liberty, in my mind, besides their own faults, their own mistakes, proved themselves equal to Ole Miss in that one. So these are 2 very, very good teams coming in playing each other. Under the radar game for sure, but a top game that you want to watch because they have one of the top players in the nation here, Malik Willis, 2,159 yards passing, 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, but he is a mad rusher. 755 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. One of the most athletic, elusive quarterbacks you will see in the nation. He is incredibly fun to watch. I don't care if you care about these teams. I don't care if you care about the matchup, but you want to watch this guy play. He is a Sunday afternoon player. He is going to be drafted high for sure in this upcoming draft, at least first round, somewhere in there. A lot of teams have their eye on him, and he is a quarterback you want to watch play. So you want to tune in at 4 p.m. on ESPNU. I'm calling Liberty with the win, and I'm going to go over on the over-under. All right, number 6 here, SMU 8-2 at number 5, Cincinnati 10-0, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. If I didn't mention it before, all times are on Eastern Time. Cincinnati favored big, 11.5 points, given a 75.6% chance of winning. However, Cincinnati has struggled the last 4 weeks with very close wins, almost losses to Tulane, Navy, Tulane, Navy, and there's another one in there, Tulsa. Tulane, Navy, and Tulsa, almost losing to those teams. And then last week versus USF, it took the first quarter. USF was right there with them. I mean, USF had the lead, I think it was, or were tied all the way up there into the second quarter. Cincinnati able to have a very strong second half to be able to put that game away, but they did not look good in that one. So Cincinnati wanting to prove that they're a playoff-worthy team here, but not finishing well down the stretch. This is a game, finally a game against a good quality opponent. Not been a lot of those in the American Athletic Conference this year, but finally a good quality opponent they can test their mettle against, and they need a dominant win in this one to have any chance of hopping into that top 4. This is the only game that I'm going to put 2 top players of the game, and it's because it's really an amazing matchup here between the 2 top quarterbacks in the AAC. 2 of the top quarterbacks in the nation here in Tanner, and I cannot pronounce his last name, but I'm going to try anyway. Tanner Mordekia. I think I was close. I don't know. I'm terrible in pronouncing his name. What I'm not terrible in pronouncing it is his stats. 3,264 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. One of the top quarterbacks in the nation as far as statistics go. Going up against Desmond Ridder, 2,425 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Not as impressive as Tanner over here, but Desmond has been playing against tougher competition, at least earlier in the season he was. So who's going to win this game? I'm actually calling upset. I think Cincinnati's struggle so far this season, late in the season, against terrible opponents. Yeah, Cincinnati has everything to play for, but SMU is wanting to get this upset. They're 8-2. They want to prove they deserve to be in the top 25. And this is not necessarily a rivalry game, but this is a game that is big on the schedule for both these 2 teams. I'm calling upset alert. Bam, bam, bam. I think SMU will make Cincinnati pay for their early game struggles and for their just overall game struggles here down the stretch. I don't think Cincinnati has it in them to go and dominate. I think they are the better team, but for whatever reason, they have not been showing that same first half of the season performance, the really great performances we saw earlier in the year. We have not seen that late here for the Cincinnati team. So I think that SMU will get the upset, but I'm going to call under on that over-under score. And my over-under prediction is not necessarily typical betting predictions. I'm just predicting over-under versus the predicted overall spread. All right, number 7 here. So, yeah, I did 7 to 6 out of order. Whoops, well, that's what happens when you rush a video. All right, number 7, and then we'll go down to number 5 because we just did number 6. Number 7, number 21, Arkansas, 7-3. At number 2, Alabama, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. And it's going to be Alabama favored by 21 points, given a 92.6% chance of winning. This one's not going to be close. Alabama's going to crush them. I know I usually wait until after I've done my key player, but Alabama is going to crush Arkansas in this one. Arkansas team that was able to somehow get into the rankings after beating Mississippi State, and then a close win against a bad LSU team moved them up to 21. I don't agree with the committee on that. I think that close win against LSU should have bumped Arkansas out, proving they aren't a top 25 team. They do have a great quarterback here. Is going to be top quarterback or top player of the game here in Jefferson. 1,990 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 474 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. So he's definitely a mobile, agile quarterback. He might have something to say about that point spread. You may be coming under on the over-under, but I don't think so. I think Alabama still gets the big win in this one as they continue to roll down the stretch towards that Georgia matchup in the SEC championship. So I'm going to call over on the over-under, and I'm going to call Alabama with the win. All right, fifth nation here. Number 10, Wake Forest at Clemson, 7-3. 7-3 Clemson, that is. Noon ESPN. This is a potential battle for the ACC Atlantic. Technically, Clemson still has a chance if NC State loses both of their last games and Wake Forest loses both of their last games. If NC State loses one more game. If NC State loses one more game and then Wake Forest loses both of their games, including this matchup against Clemson, and Clemson wins out, technically Clemson could get into the ACC championship. It's probably slight, but Wake Forest does still have to play Boston College after this one, a team that has been not easy to get through this year, giving some teams a little bit of a struggle. So we'll see if Wake Forest can finish strong out here the rest of the stretch. Avoided a very close game. Oh, wait, that was never mind. Anyhow, main point here, Wake Forest versus Clemson. It's a good matchup here. Clemson trying to finish the season strong. My wife's a Clemson fan, so we watch the games. Clemson favored by 4.5 points, giving a 68.5% chance of winning. However, I thought Wake Forest was overrated this whole season. I really did. I said that they were overrated. They hadn't really played anybody. They were only ranked so high because they hadn't played anybody. Same for statistics-wise. Their quarterback, Sam Hartman, has put up a great statistical performance, 3,163 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 8 picks. But I said even despite that statistical performance, Wake Forest is overrated. But then they went out and beat NC State. Very, very close game. I believe the final score was 38-35. It was a very, very close game last week versus NC State, but they beat them. And this is a good NC State team. So I no longer think that Wake Forest is as overrated as I thought they were. Clemson definitely has not shown the ability to get over that hump offensively. Their defense has been good, but offensively they haven't. So I think Wake Forest will take the win in this one. I'm calling Wake Forest with the win versus Clemson, and I'm going to call slightly over on that over-under. All right. Number 4 in the nation, UAB at UTSA, number 22 UTSA. You might ask, why is this in the top 5? Well, first off, it's an undefeated UTSA team who is in danger here, big danger, versus a good UAB team. So a potential chance to knock out the only Conference USA rep in the top 25, even though UTSA is favored by 4.5 points and given a 70.1% chance of winning. The other reason, though, is that this is a battle for the Conference USA West. Whoever wins this game will represent in the Conference USA West. So anytime a conference division title is on the line, that is going to be a big game. And no different here. Key player of the game here for UTSA. They have a good quarterback, but their running back is really good. Running back UTSA, McCormick here, 1,150 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, so having a really good year for UTSA. You might not watch a lot of UTSA UAB games because nobody watches Conference USA anyway. That's why they lost $12 million this last TV package reshuffle. But this is a good game, and you want to watch it. So it's on ESPN Plus at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So roll out your Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus bundle for all you Verizon owners. I own Verizon, so that's all right. Not own. I don't own Verizon. No, not undercover here as a Verizon CEO. I have Verizon is what I meant to say. But I have Verizon, so I know about that. And of course, like anybody, you've seen the ads. But the main point here, I digress. Main point here, this is a good game. You want to watch these two teams play because I think that UAB is going to get the upset. I'm calling UAB with the win. I'm calling over on the over-under to knock out UTSA, extinguish any slight feeble chances or goals they had of getting to a New Year's Six, and take them out of the top 25. All right, here, number 3 in the nation overall, top games to watch, and it is coincidentally the number 3 team in the nation. Number 3, Oregon, 9-1 at number 23, Utah, 7-3, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Utah is actually the favorite team in this one, given a 3 points by Vegas, favored by 3 points. That's the word I'm going for. Sorry, I'm failing down the stretch here. Favored by 3 points and given a 61.8% chance of winning. The Utah made an early quarterback change here early in the season after going 1-3 to start that, only win against FCS opponent in Weber. They said goodbye to Brewer, and they put in C. Rising, who has been a rising star for Utah here. 1,752 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Utah is now 6-1 since putting him in the driver's seat. That was absolutely the right decision for them, and they are a completely different team down the stretch here. So Utah playing against Oregon in this one, and Utah is the favored team. Oregon has that loss to Stanford. Most people, myself included, don't know why they're ranked. It's the head-to-head against Ohio State, but honestly, that shouldn't matter based on this record overall that Oregon has. They should not be in the top 25 here. I thought Washington, I wasn't calling a win, but I thought Washington State had a chance to knock them out. I definitely think Utah does. I'm calling Utah with the win. I'm calling over on the over-under. Either way, this is probably a precursor to the Pac-12 championship game. Almost definitely going to see these two teams again. It's going to be interesting to see those rematches, of course, if any teams end up playing each other. But these are two I think you will. So that's going to be a nice precursor to let you know what you might see in that championship game. All right, number 2 here in the nation overall is 6-4 UVA. At number 18, 8-2 Pittsburgh. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN 2. So while the last ACC matchup was a potential battle for that division, this is a definite battle for the ACC Coastal game. ACC Coastal Division. The winner of this game will advance, foregoing any kind of disaster here against weak opponents in their last game of the season. The winner of this game will advance to that, because right now UVA is just one game back on Pittsburgh, and if they beat them their own head-to-head, UVA will advance to the ACC Coastal title, which is a great for a UVA team who, like I said, is 6-4. So they haven't had a great year, but they won the games in the ACC where it has mattered. Pittsburgh is favored in this one by 14.5 points, given an 80.6% chance of winning. Quarterback for UVA might have something to say about that. B. Armstrong, 3,557 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, 8 picks. Yardage-wise, one of the top passing quarterbacks in the nation, which is incredible considering that he's also been one of the most harassed quarterbacks in the nation, just constantly under pressure. I do think that Pittsburgh is the better team, and even though both these teams are playing for the same goal here, I think Pittsburgh is the better team. I do think that they'll get this win, but I'm going to call under on that over-under. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. All right, top game of the week. Here we go. Number 1, number 7, Michigan State 9-1 at number 4, Ohio State 9-1, noon Eastern Time on ABC. This is a massive game for both of these programs. Michigan State not out of the playoff race yet, not at all. Definitely still in that contention to be able to move up into the playoffs with a win against Ohio State here. C.J. Stroud has just been one of the hottest quarterbacks off the back end of the season here. 3,036 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, 5 receptions after a very slow start. Has just gone on a massive firestorm streak the last second half here of the season. Ohio State is favored by 19 points, given an 86.3% chance of winning, which I think is very high considering that this is a good Michigan State team. And while C.J. Stroud has been on a hot streak, this isn't like an elite Ohio State team necessarily. I do think Ohio State gets the win, but I'm going to call under on that over-under. I think this is going to end up being less than a 14-point loss by Michigan State. So still win by Ohio State, but I think it is still going to be closer than most people are calling. All right, thank you for bearing with me on this video. Again, I'm going to make these analysis a little, unless this video just gets a ton of views and more views than I normally do, in which case I'll probably go to this format because it is easier to do than going more in depth like I usually do and looking at how these teams, their past history, series history, all that kind of thing. However, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, go Big Blue.